to stay.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Boards, a podcast dedicated to the actions and interests of skaters beyond skateboarding. My guest today, Barney Page, grew up in Exeter in the southwest of England, where he picked up his first board just before reaching his teens. Coming up, he would often travel from Exeter, exploring much of England. He spent a lot of time in Bristol and Milton Keynes, where he connected with legendary UK skate photographer Leo Sharp, as well as Rob Selley, who started flowing him Motive boards. After writing for Motive and Enjoi for a little bit, Barney joined the Swedish crew over at Sweet Skateboards right before they became Sour Skateboards. After 15 years traveling and skating all around the world, Barney recently bought himself a canal boat to live in and travel with, which he completely fixed up and redesigned. So here's my conversation with Barney. I hope you'll enjoy it. So let's do this first one. Let me know if you can hear it okay.
Hey Barney, it's Paul O'Connor here, currently pacing the streets of Singapore. Got a couple of Devon-based questions for you. You and Ryan very gracefully came to one of my lectures at university. I'd love for you to tell Quentin a little bit about what that was like. Certainly for the fact that the last time I think you were on campus, you mentioned that you'd been accosted by a security guard. So tell the folk a little bit about what that was like. And secondly, I'm a huge fan of the Land's End film. I think it's amazing, but it also really strikes a chord with me when you get back to Exeter and you just declare your love for the hills of Devon. Give us a little bit of that flavour of Devon love for someone who's always on the road, travelling around. Send in best vibes and hope to catch up with you again sometime soon.
Oh, nice. That was cool.
Yeah,
it was funny when he invited me and Ryan to go and kind of sit in the corner of one of his lectures. I can't remember the whole topic now, but he was very excited to have us there. And for me, that's really out of my comfort zone when I'm in this corner of a class like that, and I didn't really, you can get a bit shy, but we just kind of chatted with the students and we went in there for too long, but it was quite funny. Like as he said, like the last time I would have been going up into the university in Exeter would have been skating, and obviously it's not allowed. So I'd have been getting chased out by security and stuff. So to go and be involved in a class there after like my back history of the reason to why I got to the university was completely different then. So it felt quite strange. Yeah, but we've definitely had a lot of issues in the past with trying to skate certain spots up in that university, and I mean the security guards can get quite aggressive as well. Even there was this one time I remember, and I must have only been about 15 or 16, and we were skating his handbro up there, and they kept asking us to leave, and then the next weekend we'd go back up, this and that, and then all of a sudden they just sped up in their vans and jumped out, and we were running down the hill because this university is like up on a tall hill, and it's all kind of just like heads down towards the city. So when you're leaving the campus, it's all this steep green grass banks and whatnot. So I was taking to the grass to run away, and I just got dump tackled by this security guard, like straight onto my head. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, it was actually wild. I was tiny then as well. I feel like I didn't really start growing until I left school. So yeah, I got tossed by this guy. And,
damn.
I mean, in reality, he should have probably lost his job, but we're not going to go and complain. We're just
did you like press charges or something? Or
no. I dusted myself up and went back up the next weekend to do it.
Yeah. True skater spirit.
But it was funny. A funny situation.
What
was the last part of the question?
About like your love of Exeter and Devon.
Yeah. Throughout the Land's End journey, making it down to Devon was kind of like the last leg of the journey, really, because it's the southwest. And there is a massive love for it. Just scenically, it's so beautiful, and I've been fortunate enough to travel around to quite a few continents and countries over the years, and nothing's similar to it. Everywhere has its own unique beauty and difference in landscapes and whatnot, but there's just something about Devon and the rolling green hills, and I don't know, the fresh air, and and I think it's quite just a nostalgic thing for me being there. So yeah, I get quite happy when visiting, but not for too long. It can be quite a bore after a while. But,
I'm sure. Yeah. So you're based in London, like that's your home base usually whenever you're not traveling?
It is now, yeah.
Because some people brought that question up later, but like I think you bought like a boat or like a canal boat or something, and that you're living. I don't know if you're still living on there or.
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just putting some more wood into the fire.
Oh wow! Damn. How long have you been living there?
I've been living on the boat now for almost, I don't know, like 18 months or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like this winter is actually, I feel like I'm actually living on it, because last year when I bought the boat, I just stripped everything out internally and rebuilt the entire boat. So like this time last year, I still had so much work going on. It wasn't like I could kind of sit back and relax and enjoy it,
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I'm chilled. I'm on the couch. I have everything set up. Put another log in the fire. It just actually feels like a home now. So that's nice. Because I think
awesome.
last year I didn't install the fireplace until about mid-January, so you can imagine how cold it was.
Oh, wow.
And I was still I was travelling around, dipping my toes back in every now and then to do some work and this and that, but then it was like the crucial part is, the bleakest point of the winter when it's coldest and darkest, where you really want to warm up by a fire or something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the process, it's been nice and rewarding, and I've learned a lot, so it's been cool.
We'll talk about it some more later, but yeah, I think it's interesting that you decided to do that. It makes sense for someone who's basically traveled his entire adult life. So to live on a boat is kind of living an adventure, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this next one from Oli Buergin. I hope I'm saying his name right.
Oli Buergin, Swiss.
Bergen, yes, exactly. Who was your team manager at Edney's, I think, for quite a while?
Yeah, for a long time.
Like over a decade?
Yeah. I mean, because I was getting Edney shoes from over here in the UK from, who was the person at the time? Must have been Pink Turvey or something. I was really young. When they still had the distribution going on over here. And then I kind of got like, I guess in a sense, a promotion to go and skate for the European side, which was obviously the whole of Europe then. And then that obviously changed into Oli being my team manager from then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow, I haven't thought about that in a long time, but time flies, yeah. He was one of the best TMs though, for sure. He's just the nicest guy.
Yeah, he does seem very nice for sure,
Yeah.
So let's see. He said a couple of things. I'll just read you his entire question, and then we can take it from there. He said, "I have not so much a question, more of a funny memory from the first time we brought Barney on an Edney's trip in Belgium around 2011. Somehow he missed a train and got slightly lost. The Belgian police were nice enough to help him find his way and sent me a message to let us know he's okay. See attachment." And then he sent me a photo of like a screenshot of a message he received from the police saying Barney is with us or something.
Yeah, no, he still has that. That's so funny.
Yeah. So he said maybe that's something to ask Barney about. He did get lost again the night of my 40th birthday when he took off with a few of my friends. I was passed out. Ended up at a random party and didn't know how to get back to my house. I woke up with multiple missed calls from a Basel police station. Shortly after, my doorbell rang and Barney was back. Maybe he remembers this one as well.
Yeah, I definitely remember both of those moments. I kind of had a feeling when you first started talking then, because I knew when he said it was the first trip, because I'll never forget like my first trip and the journey going to that trip. And then the second one, I wasn't expecting that one, but that was quite funny as well. Yeah.
And so the first one, 2011, how old were you then? You must have been quite young, right? Like
Yeah, it must have been 16, 17 maybe, yeah.
Okay.
At that time, so it was just after I left school, so I was, no money at all. I didn't work or anything. I just kind of, And as it was my first trip, it was before I was ever even getting any money in my pocket for skating for any company. So I was kind of just, you know, every kid's the same. It's you kind of just, within the skate world, you just kind of just, you know, roam around, make ends meet. You can kind of like find a way. And it's kind of a nice way to travel, I guess. But also to do that now would be horrible. But it's something you can do easily when you're a kid, you know. I could not eat for 2 days and be completely fine, you know. But that's just the part of being a child. Superpowers.
Were you already getting boards from I saw that before you got on a sour I think you were getting boards from Enjoi, but even before that you were getting boards from a brand called Motive or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. That was actually my first sponsor.
Okay.
So Rob Selley, we used to get up to Milton Keynes a lot, and it was the same thing of going on these trips where, you know, you have no money in your pockets. We'll just kind of like scrape our pennies together and get enough of the travel up there, and just kind of squeeze into one little room, like 7 people or something, and you know. But we used to go up there a lot and skate with all the locals, and we got to know them, and I got noticed a bit more, and then a photographer called Leo Sharp came up and shot like the first pictures I've ever had in a magazine, which was Sidewalk at the time, which was a first light, and yeah, the ball started rolling from there, I guess. So if it wasn't for the fact that I had never left Devon, I definitely wouldn't be where I am now, you know. It's the point of travelling and making friends, and it pushes you on, especially in the skating world, I think, you know.
Yeah.
But going back to Oli's question or story, did you want me to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, please. I
can take you through. Yeah, I'll just take you through the first story and
sure.
From what I remember. It's been a long time ago, but I had, like I was saying, I didn't at that time as well. Even being like coming into my late teens, I had like a burner phone. I never had a smartphone. I didn't have a smartphone until I was about 20 years old. And at that time, obviously the burner, you have to put credit on your phone to be able to make calls, and of course when I leave the UK that doesn't transfer over, and I didn't have any money to put credit on, or like it burns through the credit so fast when you're outside the UK. So
right.
You know, I just had this phone with barely any numbers on it, because I actually barely used it. It was only really when I really needed to call someone or something, or my mum needed to get hold of me or something. But I have all my travel booked on Oli's side, so he sent me the details of, the flights, the boarding passes, and like the train ticket and whatnot. So I remember actually I was flying out of Exeter, which is very rare because it's a tiny little airport and no one really flies in or out of there. It's kind of got like business routes, but one of them being Amsterdam, and I was flying into Amsterdam to then get on a train to Belgium, because obviously it's very close. So very easy the first part of the journey. It's like a 20-minute drive to the airport, you know, tiny airport, you know, no one really there, just absolutely chilled. And then I land in Amsterdam, and then I have my train tickets printed out. So I go down sussing the trains, and then just to double check and make sure I was getting on the right train, I asked one of the conductors on the platform. I was asking him if it's the correct train, and looked at my ticket and was like, yeah, this is the train, you just jump on this one and it will take you to the station you need to get off at, and blah blah blah. I was like, oh sweet, I'll get on. So I jump on the train, and then I think, it must have been about an hour had gone on the train. It was completely packed out to the point where I was just stood up in the centre areas where the carriages meet, where the doors are, where people come and go. And there was just like people kind of like stood up and just whatever. And then eventually the ticket officer comes through, asking for people's tickets, and I hand him my ticket, and he just starts screaming at me, you know, like in my face in French, and I was just like, I just didn't know what was going on, you know. And, and then out of nowhere he grabbed my passport and just like walked up through the carriage and just disappeared for like 15-20 minutes with my passport, and which he doesn't have any authority to do, but I was just young and really out of my comfort zone and not knowing what's going on, so I just allowed him to take my passport, you know. And then this guy I'm guessing he was like some sort of business guy who was suited and booted in a suitcase, and he was opposite me in the carriage. I was stood, and he was like backing me and saying, you can't take your passport like this and like that, and he's like, you should ask for that back, because, you know, blah blah blah. I can't remember exactly what he said. And then I tried to find the ticket officer, so I'm walking up through the train and I find his office and he's in there just, I don't really know what he's doing, but he screams at me to go back to where I was stood, and I was like, well, okay, this is weird now. So I go back to where my bag was, where this guy was, and the ticket officer comes back down, and as the train is pulling up to a station, he passes me my passport back. The train stops, the doors open, passengers leave, get on. He just throws my travel bag out of the door onto the platform and then pushes me down the steps and passes me my passport and then rips my ticket up in front of my face and just like closes the train door.
Oh my god. What a jerk.
Yeah, and then I was just kind of stood there, and it was a very small, I can't remember, it might have been near Lille or something, I don't know, but it was a very small train station. It wasn't like I was in a city centre of anywhere. I felt like very stranded, you know.
Yeah.
And there was just kind of, it looked a little bit ghetto, there was like graffiti everywhere, and it was just like, you know, it was kind of getting later on in the afternoon, sun was about to set, and I just had no money, no phone, now no train ticket, just my bag, and I was just like stranded in a foreign country.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is crazy. I didn't really, you know, I was getting really nervous, you know, and I was getting pretty scared at that point, and I was like, what do I do? So I go down into like the main area of the station to try and find
help,
some sort of solution to my problem. And I remember I get down into the station, and I just immediately I saw it was like a mobile phone shop, and I was like, great, I can just go in there and use the phone. There's phones everywhere, and they're like, but they're all on show, you know. None of them actually work. You can't use them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, and I was kind of a bit like, I think because I was so nervous and scared, I just kind of didn't. I wasn't really. I didn't explain to him why I needed it, or like I just kind of was just saying I needed to help a bit, or this or that.
Yeah.
And then I walked away, and I was just kind of like roaming around the train station thinking about what to do. And out of nowhere, I guess that guy saw a couple of police officers and told them that I was kind of this foreign boy lost. And maybe I needed some help. And they came in, I got a tap on the shoulder, and I was like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. I told him my situation, and I was saying that, I'm on this trip and my travel has been covered and I have no money to pay the extra amount. Oh yeah, I've actually left out quite an important part of why I got kicked off the train, was that the ticket officer said that I was on the fast train and I should have been on the slower train. So that was the whole reason.
Oh,
And then he was asking for a credit card from me or whatever, and I'm like, I don't own a credit card. I'm like, I can't pay like that extra charge. And then I was saying, when we pull up at the station, my team manager will cover the expenses of blah 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 blah. You know?
Oh, okay.
But he just wasn't having any of it. You know, he's just calling me a liar and this and that. And
he just threw you off the train. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was explaining that to the police officers, and then they were like, "Oh, so you're a skateboarder?" And then they were asking me to do flat ground kickflips and flip tricks in the station to raise money for the rest of my travel for the train. But they were just like kind of like fucking about. They were really friendly, and I did actually do a couple of kickflips and stuff for them, like in the station. It was funny. And then they took me to their office in the station, and they were like watching YouTube videos of me and stuff.
Oh my god!
It was really embarrassing. I remember being extremely embarrassed. But then they quickly got me onto the next train, like free of charge. And then I gave them, I think Oli's number might have been written on a piece of paper then, and I just gave them the number. And
they texted
him, it was whatever it said, and then it was saying like from the police, and then the new ETA of my arrival in Belgium. And the worst part about all of it was when the police sorted out my next fare for the train, it turned out there was no such thing as a fast train or a slow train. That didn't exist.
So really?
He just kicked. I was on the correct train. He just kicked me off for no reason.
Damn.
Yeah.
What was wrong with this guy?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's so weird. Like
what got
into him? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like the worst part about all of it, is that I was actually on the correct train.
Yeah, you did nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong. I had the legitimate ticket. There wasn't a fast or a slow train. They were all the same trains passing through.
And even if you were on the wrong train, like he should not have kicked you off. Like he should have been like just more patient and been like helpful or something. Like
I was a kid, crazy. I was like just a kid. So
that's wild.
A wild story, yeah.
What an asshole!
Yeah, but really.
Well, thank God you were okay, and
Well, I mean, beds never felt so good after that day.
Oh yeah.
I did what I wanted to do because I was so hungry as well. I had no money to eat, and I was just like stranded for hours and hours and hours, and I didn't eat from the morning until I eventually got there at like 10 p.m. or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny that the police asked you to like perform kickflips or whatever to show that you're a legit skater or something.
But no, I don't even think it was that. I think they were just like, I was a kid. They were I think they were just making me feel more comfortable.
Okay.
I think it was a way of them to make me feel like, it's okay. We're going to help you.
Okay.
Like, because I feel like you can see when someone's nervous or not having the best time, just like body language and stuff. And
sure.
Being a kid, they're probably just being like trying to be as nice as they possibly could. I'd imagine. They were super cool. It was that's the nice thing.
Yeah. Okay, well, changing gears completely, but I have a question from Travis Wardle, who I believe was with you on the Land's End trip, at least at the beginning, I think.
Yeah.
He said, "What is your dream hairdo?"
I knew it was going to be the silliest question, but one of our good friends, he's called Jaron. I grew up skating with him. I was just visiting her one time, and we were actually up in Trav's partner has woodlands up over the coastline of Dawlish, and we were kind of just up there having like a big fire one evening. It was kind of a little event with the locals, and there's a party going on, and I was just sat next to my friend Jaron, and he just randomly looked at me and goes, "Hey Barn, what's my dream haircut?" Like as if I would know what his dream haircut is. Just like the most, I don't know. But it's just
random question.
The most random question ever. But it's just kind of it's more of like a little inside joke. That's just
okay.
Like, it's stuck for a while now, though. Asking me what his dream haircut was.
And so Travis was with you. So at the beginning, right? He was in the support vehicle for the beginning of the Land's End trip.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He actually also drove up because we all jumped in the van in Devon, and we all drove up together. So he did the first drive all the way up there as well, which was actually a lot longer than I was expecting. I don't know, because I've driven up.
How long did it take you to on the way up?
Well, it was. I tell you what the reason was is because every time I've driven up to Scotland, I would be usually. It doesn't really matter if I was starting in Devon or Bristol, whatever. It was always around about like the 8-9 hour mark with stops. But that's because we would always go to like Edinburgh or Glasgow, and you're like on the southern part of Scotland. But like we were going to like the far north, and the further you get up, the hillier it is, and the smaller the roads are, and the later it is getting, and you can't go as fast. So I think it had to have been about 16 hours or something.
Okay. Oh, but you did it in one go. You didn't like stop for a night or something. Okay.
No. We drove all the way up and then started the next morning. So we ended up. We were trying to arrive for like I think like 9-10 p.m. Have like a dinner and just get an early night and just start. But we ended up arriving at 2 a.m. and then started. We got up at like 7 and just started.
Oh yeah, damn.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
pretty hectic start to the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, but Trav drove up there for that first stretch, which was pretty epic as well. But it was easier. We were all kind of excited, and I mean, to be honest, I was sick at that point. I got a bit ill beforehand. But
yeah, I think I remember hearing about it in the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, just nothing major, but it's not a nice way to start a journey like that. Yeah. Feeling just had a bit of a flu, kind of like COVID symptoms, but. I never did take a test because why would I do that? It'd be silly, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And so, do you remember what time of the year it was? And what was it in 2021? I think you did that.
Yeah, and it was it was October, September going into October. So it was starting to get pretty cold. I think when we were up in the Highlands, it was getting pretty cold at that point. It was probably dropping to about 4 degrees in the daytime when you're up in the Highlands with like a lot of rain. But when you're moving, it's not like I was cold at all until I'd stop, you know, so...
Yeah,
it was actually okay. I don't know, I almost feel like, well, not the rain, no one wants to be in the rain, but... I mean, I feel like I'd prefer to be pushing in 4 degrees over pushing in 40 degrees, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't take your skin off in 40,
yeah.
At least you can put an extra layer on in 4. So I do actually think that was somewhat better, but the rain definitely sucked because you're just soaking wet. But
yeah, I remember watching the documentary and thinking like just skating in the rain in itself is not fun at all. Like it's very slippery. It's especially on roads like this where the cars are like going by you very fast, and like I assume they're splashing water at you and everything, and with the wind it's probably your whole balance is all fucked up, and it must be quite a struggle. And just psychologically as well, it must take a toll after a few hours of doing that. You must be so fucking over it. Doing it
certainly
for 20
a lot more
days
grueling in the wet. Just I feel like the days would drag. They'd be a lot slower when it's raining, just because it was more of a struggle. It's just not good for the morale. I feel it just kind of draws the life out of you, and it's just that difficult. But yeah, that's right.
Did you ever consider, like during the trip, and we'll talk about it some more later because some other people asked about the whole trip, but I was just curious if you ever considered, because of the rain or any other, obstacles on the way, did you ever consider calling it quits and trying to do it again maybe in a few months later, when the summer would be back, or like basically the weather would be better?
Tell you the truth, that didn't cross my mind once.
Okay, wow.
No.
Once you left, you were like, okay, we're doing this, we're going all the way, like I'm not giving up.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give up unless I literally couldn't move anymore, so...
Right, okay.
But I definitely... the first 3 days, I was like... I just asked myself, actually, after the first day, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, I was like, this is... Because the first 3 days were insane. So we had... The first day was actually a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. The weather's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was somewhat easy terrain because we didn't hit the hills of the Highlands just yet. We're still coming off that coastal path, like entering like all the hillsides. So the first day was actually quite a lot of pushing, and morale was high with sun shining. It was pretty good, and then we start to climb up, that back end of the Highlands, and then that's when you're like, fuck, it's just uphill for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then we're going through like a wind farm, and it's just headwinds going up a hill, and I think you don't have no time to chill and carve a little when you're just pushing up a hill. So it was just constant pushing for hours, and then it took probably 2 days to get up over the first peak of the Highlands before I had one downhill. And that was exhausting, and then that's when I was like, I can't just keep doing it like this is wild. But so after the third day, everything felt a lot easier all of a sudden, after I had my first downhill, and it reached a certain point. And also at the beginning it felt like, maybe because of all the hills, but on the map, when you check the map back, it just felt like I wasn't moving, even though I calculated all the miles and like per day and like how long it was going to take. Even though I'd meet the amount of miles I was trying to do per day, but still on the map it looked like I wasn't moving, and I was like, this is I can't do. I did doubt myself for a second there, and then and I was like, no, you don't want to get in that headspace. It's not a place you want to be. So, but and then things did start to become easier after that. Body gets conditioned, I guess. Mentally, you're prepped, what's to come the next day. Your body can do it. Maybe it's sore, and but you can just push through then.
Yeah, congrats. I mean, it's quite an achievement. We're going to talk about it some more, and I'll also ask you about this other trip you're going to do in the spring, I think, with Stu Graham and everybody.
Possibly.
Oh yeah, okay, that's not quite confirmed. Okay.
No, well, the reason why it's not confirmed is I can't remember. So the Icelandic route, I think it's around like just over 900 miles. It's actually less miles than going through the UK, but and the terrain will be a lot easier because it's a ring road. You won't really be climbing hills, and it's a relatively new road, so it'll probably be relatively easy to push around. But I think Stu was saying that he was trying to do it in 8 weeks or something, which I can't do it in 8 weeks. It's too slow for me. I'd want to push to 20 days or something,
Yeah.
Also because I've, I 8 weeks is a long time, and I'll probably have other things that are scheduled in as well, so I can't really just be living in Iceland for 8 weeks. So. Although I would really love to do it, because me and Sherman, which is my friend that was the videographer on the trip for Lausanne.
Ryan Sherman, yeah.
Yeah, so he was the one who created the whole film.
Right.
But we were talking about just, we were going to cycle around the ring road of Iceland. It was something Sherman wanted to do, and he invited me to do it with him, and I thought it was quite a unique idea that would be eye-opening and it's fun, but we're just going to do it just leisurely, just for fun, and not document it. And then it was funny that Stu ended up announcing this and asking me to do it, and I also asked Sherman if he'd want to do it, which he's obviously interested in. But yeah, it's just like the logistics, if they match and you can work around it, and the time scale and frames and stuff like that.
Okay.
Then possibly. It's definitely not a no, but it's just,
you need to
figure it out, yeah.
I have this question from Josh Harris. He said, "What's on the boy?" I'm not saying this right, probably. And he said also, "Do you have any tips about how to drop in successfully on the back of a Nissan Micra?"
Wow, that's so funny. So my friend Jaron, I was talking about earlier, that asked me about what his dream haircut is. This is actually his brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so Josh is Jaron's brother. It's his younger brother. Yeah. And what's on the buy is pretty much just saying, "How you doing? What's up?" Okay. What's up, mate? Yeah.
I completely butchered it. Yeah.
No, but everyone does. It's fine. unless you're a real proper buy, then you're gonna butcher it.
What's the story about dropping in on a micro?
No, I completely forgot about that. That was a mad one. I don't know if you remember or you've seen an Nissan Micra's profile before, like the car. Have you ever?
I'm not sure.
They're this really old, like tin can looking car. It's very boxy, and the back windscreen is just completely flat, like a pretty good, what I thought would be a good bank to drop in on. The back of the car, being like a rebel, probably watching Jackass before going up in the city centre at like 13 years old.
Okay.
So anyway, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll drop in." So I get up onto the top of the roof, prep my board at the top of the window like it's a flat bank, and drop in. And as I put my front foot on and push the four wheels down, my weight just pushes the board through the window. So I just smashed through the window as I'm completely committed to a drop in, thinking I'm going to be like, leaning like face forward down this the back end of a car. So my legs disappear into the windscreen with my board, and obviously my legs are hooked up in the back seats, and I think I'm just rolling off the end of it, but I'm not. And then all of a sudden, I just go straight to my face, like my head. And then I remember getting up in a panic, and I just couldn't, because I hit my head so hard I couldn't see, like I could not see. And I remember, I can't remember who it was, but they had to grab me, and my board somehow made it into the front of the car where like the steering wheel was. I couldn't climb in there because I couldn't see the car, and I was like running around in circles pretty much because it felt like I was blindfolded. And someone took the plunge into the car and grabbed my board, and then I slowly start coming around and like being able to see again, and then we just darted down through the city centre and just like made an escape.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So stupid, but
Did you go to the hospital or something to get your head checked or nothing?
No, there was no blood. I just had a fat lump on my head, but we were chilling.
But you might have gotten a concussion or something, or who knows?
Yeah, well, too late now.
Yeah. My God, wow, that's crazy. Damn. Yeah. You could have like cut your
It could have been really. It could have been really
with the broken glass or something.
Yeah, those thoughts crossed my mind for sure. Yeah, I literally fell through a window, but it's tempered glass, so you're kind of okay. It crumbles, doesn't it, after it breaks? So you're not gonna get cut up by shards. But I could have still had a nasty cut. It's like I don't know. It could have been a lot worse than it was.
Yeah,
but it was. I mean, that's a funny one though. Some might say I deserved it.
I don't know about that. But how old were you? Like you said, 13, around there.
Yeah, I must have been about 13. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like, yes, really young. I was like really, really young, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of stuff you do when you're that age, yeah.
Well, yeah, this dumb kid getting all revved up watching, I don't know, Jackass or something.
That's crazy. Okay, this next one I have is from Aidan Campbell, who was a teammate of yours on Etnies, I believe. He said to ask you about a few things. Maybe you can pick one of them we can talk about. He said, ask him about the karate show down in China, him falling asleep on an AC unit, or when he went from getting his plane ticket taken away and not allowed on a flight to flying first class.
Well, yeah, actually, Aidan, he was the TM for a minute there, which was great, but he was also a rider for the company before that as well.
He had a part in album, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. We travelled and skated a lot together. He's like really good homie. Mm-hmm. I miss him a lot. I can't remember the third one, and the second one was the AC
falling
unit,
asleep on an AC unit.
That's actually a pretty good story because it involves Aidan as well. So yeah, it was actually, I think it might have actually been the first ever trip. It was one of the first trips I'd ever been on with Aidan. It was one of my first trips out in the States, or it was my first trip, and I was asked to tag along on this Etnies trip. We went to Texas. And at that point, I think it was the last stop of the trip, and actually South by Southwest was on, and we were in Austin in Texas. And at that time, me and Aidan weren't old enough to legally drink in the US. I think we were about 19 years old or something. And it's this big festival going on, and if you want to find alcohol, you're finding alcohol. Mm-hmm. And we somehow got into a couple of places, which was really strange for me because I'd already been allowed to go out in pubs and stuff for like quite a while, and then all of a sudden I'm back to feeling like a kid and I'm not allowed to drink and stuff. But yeah, we go out and we get really drunk, and Aidan's like, I don't think I've ever seen him that. Actually, no, I've seen him that drunk. But yeah, he ended up, someone had to take him. I think Jameson and was the TM at the time, and he had to, push him into a taxi and go back. And I arrived back in the room because I was sharing with him like a few hours later, and he had this whole setup where he had the bin next to his head. He was laying on the bed, and I think he'd vomited maybe a couple of times. And then I was like, I think we had to share a bed, and I was like, I'm not doing it. Nah, I can't get in there with him. And there was this big windowsill with like a big cushion on the side. It was just kind of a nice little like chill spot where you could easily sleep. And I was like, I had to sleep there, chilling. Mm-hmm. And I got this big blanket or a duvet. And what I didn't realise in my drunken state was the AC unit was on the wall underneath the windowsill.
Okay.
So I lay down to go to sleep, and I had the blanket over me, but it was covering the AC unit on the inside of the blanket, so it wasn't going out to the room. It was only coming in under the blanket to where I was sleeping. So I trapped the AC unit like into my blanket, and because I passed out directly because I was so drunk, I didn't even realise, and I remember I woke up like early hours of the morning, and it felt like I was in a freezer. Like I've never ever been that cold in all my fucking life.
Oh my God.
Just purely because I was drunk, I just didn't feel it. But yeah, I woke up like, I swear I was like about to get hypothermic.
An ice cube. Yeah.
Man, it was crazy. Yeah, it was. I was so cold, man. Fuck. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like, how do you manage to do that? It's insane.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're drunk enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, quite a random place for an AC unit to be, though, I think.
Okay, this one's an audio one. Let's see.
Hello, Barney. It's Lomar. Hope you're alive and well. You're the one on the team who's filmed with a lot of filmers compared to the other guys, I think. And one question would be like, what makes a good filmer and what makes a bad filmer? Take care. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, Lomar, that's it. Nice to hear him. What makes a good filmer and what makes a bad filmer? Well, I guess technically you could go to the technical terms, and if you can't film, it's not nice to film with someone that can't film. But that's not usually the matter, is it? That's not usually the case at the point. But
Do you have maybe a favorite filmer? I mean, obviously, I'm sure that there's a bunch of people that you've enjoyed filming clips with throughout the years, but do you have someone that's like kind of like, I don't know, I'm thinking of Jacob Harris and Tom Knox, you know, they're like such a epic duo. Like, do you have a filmer like that is like kind of your Jacob Harris, I guess, or?
You know, not necessarily. I think an important thing that comes in with filming with someone is more like the connection you have on a friendship level. And technically, obviously, you want to have a filmer that's legitimate at filming, and you're not going to get any hassle if you send off clips and this and that, and they're reliable and blah blah blah. But like ultimately, when you're out in the streets trying to film, you want to feel content and comfortable, and you want to be bouncing off with the positive energy with like whoever you're filming with, right? Yeah. Because if you're filming with someone you don't get on with, you're not going to want to skate. You're not going to have fun. It's just going to draw all the fun out of it.
Sure.
So I just think anyone you get along with that's got good energy and vibes, it's like the best way to go. And it's like, it makes you want to skate a lot more and a lot harder, because you both want to get clips. It's not like they're just, I mean, I guess some people just don't want to be there and they're filming, and then they say like, and you can feel that energy, and then it makes you not want to skate because they don't want to be there, But that obviously can go both ways. That could go with like the filmer wanting to be there, but the skater not wanting to be filming with that particular person, and so I mean, yeah. But Lomar is a great person to film with. He's hyped and just fun and creative.
Yeah, he must be fun to film with. Yeah.
He's also down to have a session as well, just actually skating and not filming, and I think there's a lot of variables within like who's good at filming and who's bad, and I don't think technically it has much to do with it. But
it's more about the energy and what you just bouncing off each other's energy. And
I think so. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, my next question is from another sour filmer, Gustav Tønnesen.
Oh yeah.
Probably the best skater alive, or at least up there with them.
He's definitely up there, all twinkle toes.
So he said, "How is my ring coming along?"
Oh yeah. I haven't started that yet. It's hard to find time. Honestly, it's hard to find time, and I have a few people that have asked me to make rings for them. And
okay.
I did make one recently for a friend, but it's a bit of a process, and I feel like I'll do some classes and I get into it, and then I'll go on a trip, and then it's kind of like getting yourself back into like the workshop and doing stuff, and sometimes you lose the flow, right, if you're not doing it all the time.
Yeah, sure.
You can kind of relate that to anything, because like say I was like learning something on a guitar or something, not like I could really play the guitar, but I've tried to learn a few times, but I'll be getting somewhere and you feel the progression, and then you don't pick it up for a few weeks,
it's all gone,
and you lose the flow. You feel like you've lost where you were.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's not actually as deep as that, because I've been learning and I know what to do, but it's like putting that time aside to doing it. But
how long have you been working on jewelry for?
I'll get on this ring. I on and off for like a couple of years. I wish I spent a lot more time doing it than I did. But the thing is, like now with like we just had the small conversation about being on this boat, and I have the workshop there. I had to prioritize all my spare time in building the actual boat rather than focusing on doing any jewelry work. Because it's very time consuming.
The jewelry, or
you start, like all of a sudden, like 5 hours have passed. You haven't done much, but it's like But that's what's so nice about it, and I think that's it's a way to escape.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously not everyone's cup of tea, but for me personally, you're so hyper focused on something so small and fragile.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, this time flies.
You get in that.
But flow, so it's like, and it's not. I don't feel like it's something I can just be like, I'll do 30 minutes now, an hour now. It won't work like that. It'll end up being like 5-6 hours, and then you're like, fuck, I needed to do this or that, and so it's like finding that time and putting the time aside. But Gustav, I'll try and get your ring done. That's actually really funny. I was just before getting on the call with you about to book a flight to Barcelona. I'll actually see him. I'll see him on Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
That's not enough time to get a ring done.
Next trip. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's gonna have to be next year, mate. Sorry.
That's cool that you're getting into jewelry, and you seem to be a very how do you say, like hands-on kind of someone who likes to build stuff, or like work with hands.
I think so. Yeah. There's absolutely no way I could sit in an office. I'm like too fucking hyper for that shit.
Yeah. Were you like a bad student in school? Like bad in the sense that you couldn't really sit still on a chair and just receive information all day long?
Oh, what, like ADHD? Probably, yeah. Riddled with it, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think everybody, I was like that as well. Like, I hated school.
Yeah. Well, it's not I hate, I liked the things I liked. And when I was forced into doing something I didn't want to do, I didn't really bother wanting to participate.
Yeah.
I don't know. School was a long time ago now. I don't even really think about it.
Yeah.
I don't really remember, but...
How old are you now, Barney? Like, I know you're in your early 30s, but are you like 33, 32? I don't remember.
Yeah, 34 now.
34?
Just turned 34.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And just curious about filming with Gustav. How is that? Because I mean, like we said, he's such a talented skater, and but like, how is it to film with him? Is the pressure a little different when it's him filming you, knowing how talented he is, how rad he is as a skater, or do you know each other well enough that at this point it's just friendly and good vibes and?
Yeah, well, he gets hyper focused on anything he does. It's like, especially with cameras now and his photography and it. It shows because it's incredible the work he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But that is actually funny because obviously he's so talented on a skateboard. But what's really nice about it is even like a trick. Let's say, for example, I was trying to film something that I wasn't hyped on. It feels completely pointless, and I'm like, whatever. I don't even want to keep trying because it just feels stupid. But his hype there, he's like, nah, it's gonna look really sick, and he has this vision of like filming, and it's like, like it's gonna look sick if he's hyped on it because he has that vision.
Okay.
So it pushes you and makes you want to do it, and 9 times out of 10 it looks really good and you're stoked on it afterwards. It might not feel good at the time, but he's edging you into like pushing you to try it a little more and longer, and so that's a really nice thing to have. And like I say, it's like he films like the craziest clips ever, but it could be something so simple and basic you're filming, but he's like extremely hyped on it like it's the craziest trick, which I think that's a really nice thing. Because I think he sees more than just the trick itself,
I don't know how long you've been riding for Sauer now, but quite a long time. But I was wondering if, like, skating with him and all the Sauer crew, like, how much it influenced your skating. Like, do you feel like the tricks you do, the spots you choose, just the way you approach skating, has it changed a lot by being in contact with the Sauer team? Or do you feel like the way you skated was kind of already there prior to getting on Sauer?
No, I think you're always inspired with people you watch skating or skate with. You adapt to your surroundings, right?
Right.
I think, maybe it was there in a sense, but I've been inspired and driven by people I skate with. So, yeah, no, there's 100% I wouldn't be doing or I've done the tricks I've done if I wasn't skating on Sauer or with those guys or with other friends, beyond that. But, yeah, that's just inspiration, I guess, isn't it? And
well, speaking of Sauer, I have another teammate of yours who asked a question, Tom Snape. He said, ask him about the night we broke into the Montjuic swimming pool. Is that how you say it? Montjuic, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's all the craziest fucking stories.
we can skip it if you don't want to share.
No, it's fine. To be honest, yeah, but beyond that, there's ones that are a lot worse out there. I don't mind talking about it. So what's happened, We didn't really do anything wrong. We were just, being reckless as per usual. But no, do you know what the Montjuic Park is in Barcelona?
I think so. Yeah, I think I was there a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an old Olympic swimming pool at the very top of the hill, and it overlooks the city. And it used to be, I feel like not so much anymore, but certainly a good few years ago, it was like a prime spot to go and swim after hours after going out. If you've been like in a club or something, early hours in the morning, midsummer, a load of people would just go up there and, just be such a vibe. You could jump off the swimming boards and diving boards and just like this incredible view and just like drink beers. And slowly after the years, it got a little more secure. The fences got raised higher and sketchy people would hang out in there. And we've had a couple of moments up there where we found ourselves in kind of like dangerous situations, but yeah, me and Tom went up there one evening. It probably wasn't even that late, really, but we were just like, oh, fuck it, let's just go for a swim without feeling it. Must have been about 2 a.m. or something. And yeah, so I feel like I've got so many similar stories to this pool though as well. So we climb over, and as we're climbing over, there was just a group of people that were just I think they were kind of like hoodish characters from beyond the other side of Montjuic, and they just hang out there. It was like their prime hangout spot, and like almost would control the pool area.
Okay.
You know, it's almost like they had like a deal with the security or something. But they were like these people that are rough, that will like rob you and like beat the shit out of you type thing.
Okay, yeah.
And we climb over and we clock them all, we see them, and we're like, oh fuck, let's just sneak in there and we'll get one jump. And then we kind of had a feeling that we were going to get like a little chase on, you know. And then, yeah, so we jump over and we take all our clothes off and leave them on the side, and we're like sneaking over and we're like climbing up the diving boards all the way to the top to the 10 meter, and then we're both like, oh fuck it, let's just go. So we just jump at the same time, and like as soon as we hit the water and our heads come back up, they're just screaming, like running down, all tooled up. We're like just in our underwear, like soaking wet, trying to run back to the back fence to like grab our possessions. And so we climb up over the thing and over this back onto like the stands, then try and get our clothes to then get back up over the wall, like
Wow.
soaking wet within seconds. And it's like, I think there was one point where we were like climbing up over the first bit, and as we were running down, it's like just a chair gets launched past our heads, and like,
Oh, wow.
you know, shit was flying. And then we did kind of just disperse. He went off one way and I went off the other, and I think I left all my clothes in there because I didn't have any time.
Okay,
So I was just in my underwear, and then I jumped over this big metal fence, and there was like rusty like barbed wire strips across the top to obviously prevent people from climbing in. So I'm just like, I just rest my bare foot on the top of the fence and just rip the skin off the bottom of my foot and just like jump down into the abyss, into the darkness, like running through bushes in the pitch black, just in my underwear, soaking wet, like hoping Tom had got out and I didn't know, and this and that. And then honestly, it was like Mission Impossible. Yeah. And then I made my way back down to the streets, and I'm just soaking wet with blood gushing everywhere from my foot in my underwear, like 3 a.m, just looking so. I remember somebody was walking their dog, and they looked at me, and I just jumped out of a bush because obviously I descended down from the hills, and I'm going through like trying to escape from these people.
Yeah.
And I jump out into the road, and this woman was walking her dog, and she looked at me, and she looked so scared.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like
what the fuck
in
are
my
you
underwear,
doing?
wet with blood on me and shit. I was just like, oh my god, yeah. And then
wow.
I didn't know what to do, and then I was like, God, I just got to get back to the house. But then I was like, I must look so insane. I didn't know. And then out of nowhere, Tom just appears, and he picked up my trousers or something. So I had some clothes to put on.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, which was so legendary. I didn't even have enough time to pick my clothes up, and he grabbed it for me, you know, and made it out. And then then I just had to
just walk back to where you guys were staying, or?
Well, actually, nah. He and I went to the hospital because I had to get my foot cleaned up, and then we ended up getting back home at like 5 a.m. or something.
Damn, my God,
it was good. That's the last time I've been up there actually, because we've had so many moments where it's got quite dangerous up there now, and I'm just like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, it's not worth
even risk it anymore. Yeah, it's just not. It's not fun. I mean, it's a great adventure if you make it out alive, but it's just not. It's not worth it anymore. You know?
For sure. Wow.
But it was funny because early 20s, there was such a low fence, and everyone just be up there chilling and drinking beer. It was like a really chilled vibe and like party going on, and now it's just like a complete different story. But yeah.
It's crazy that I wonder why it's still like this, like why the city of Barcelona is not claiming the space or like letting these people squat there or just basically control it. It's pretty wild, yeah.
It is strange, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think they squat there because they actually open that pool in the summer and you can pay to go in there.
Oh, okay.
But like during the nighttime, I think I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is there, but
okay. I assume you couldn't skate with your foot for a little while, like, right? If you got stitches on your foot, like, were you able to?
I didn't actually get stitches.
Oh, okay.
it was quite strange even being in the hospital there, because they didn't really... Right, so I waited to get my foot cleaned up and looked at, and then they gave me like a tetanus injection to obviously cover me from that. Which I think I actually had the demand for, because it was a rusty fence and they weren't even going to give me that. And then they kind of like cleaned it up. They didn't put any bandages on it. I think they must have given me like a little plaster or something. I didn't even have any shoes to put on. So then I just had to walk back home again with like nothing on my foot. I was like, Spanish hospital. I was like, this is madness. Yeah. Not the best experience. But, Tom's definitely got some stories to tell about Spanish hospitals, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah? I was reading an interview you gave to Free a few years back. I don't remember when, but you were talking about that gnarly arm injury you had in China, I think. You got you've ended up in the hospital, and it was very sketchy. Like, you were basically very scared to get handled by the people over there. It was very unhygienic and everything, and but eventually it all worked out. But it must have been a pretty scary situation. Yeah.
Well, I just think when you got an open wound and you're in a hospital where the hygiene levels are so low and there's just filth everywhere and
freaking out.
I mean, it's not a nice environment to be in with a big gash in your arm. So I was just really nervous about getting any treatment there, but I got calmed down in the end. It's like, I was honestly ready to just be like, nah, I'll just fly home with this hole in my arm. Now and then just get it done there. But no, we have to deal with it, I guess. But
let's see. I have a question from Kevin Parrott. He said, I know this is loosely covered in the Land's End film, but I'd really like to get Barney's unedited take on the prep for the 941-mile push across the UK he undertook. I know Matt Pritchard was down to help with advice, and Barney and I talked about volume of kit to take once or twice. But I think there is quite a nice anecdote both him and Sherman have told me, which really stuck with almost a perfect example of how Barney approaches life. It revolved around just how prepared he made himself for this. Maybe you could get him to expand on that. And I'll just read you the whole thing. He said, from the moment of it going from a singular idea in his head through to telling people and up until the moment where he begins pushing from the start line with his full kit in the van. I spent 5 years working with Barney on Etnies project at Etnies, but he has rode for them for his entire career, I believe. In fact, I think he is the longest serving team rider. What does it take to stick with one brand for life? And maybe there are some really interesting moments, both highs and lows, from being a part of something for so long. So I guess there's two parts, like a bit more on the Land's End journey, and then on writing for Etnies for all these years.
Okay, what the lead up and the planning for the journey? Kind of just was just an idea. It was just an idea in the middle of COVID, really, and I kind of always wanted to. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to be a part of a journey like that, and I never knew how to go about it or what I wanted to do it for. And obviously with the passing of a friend and with the extra time I had due to COVID, it kind of felt like a perfect moment to do something like that. So I just the idea just kind of popped in my head one afternoon, and I just started chatting to a couple of people about it, and then the idea started getting bigger and bigger. And obviously it wasn't then until you announce it, you're like, oh, this is actually a real thing now. Oh shit. I start trying to prep, but during the time of prepping and kind of somewhat loosely trying to plan, and a lot of people couldn't travel still at that point because of COVID. I didn't really. I think most of the planning I wasn't even going to document it. I think, I was just like, well, if I can't jump too many hurdles to try and have someone document it, and whoever I'd want to do the journey with, they're not able to do it. They don't have time, or they can't fly into the country, or this or that. So I was just like, it's fine. I can just do it via social media, and it's I wasn't even going to have the support vehicle or anything.
I heard about
if
that.
If I need to do it, I'll just do it by myself. It's fine. Which I'm so happy I didn't, because it would have been horrible.
I mean, it would have been a completely different experience for sure.
Yeah. Who knows if I would have even completed it if I did it like that, with the weather being the way it was. Or it definitely would have taken a lot longer. So I was just kind of loosely planning it over, a month, 2 months, 3 months. I can't remember how long it took to plan, but I just kind of dive into planning sometimes, and then I'd forget about certain things, this and that, and then it was kind of getting closer to the date, and then Ryan hit me up saying he was interested in doing it with Sam McGuire, which is the photographer that took part.
Right, of
a friend
course.
of ours. And I think Sam actually hit Sherman up and was like, have you seen what he's doing? Blah, blah, blah. We got to try and get out there. And, you know, it was difficult for them to travel over from the States then. And, you know, things gradually started opening up around that time. So they were able to make it. And then, then I had a couple of my friends I grew up with that also attended. And then obviously Travis,
we mentioned him.
Yeah, but he lives down in Devon as well. And then, I kind of was just like, I was on a few trips before and I knew the time was coming where we needed to start trying to like figure the last parts of it out. And it's just kind of like, well, it feels like it's pretty much there. We've got the people, I'm going to push, I've got a board. We've announced it, we've set up the GoFundMe. I was like, I don't really need to do too much else, you know, other than do it. And then I was on a Ruka trip in Paris like a couple of days before, and then it ended up being like quite a large party night on the last night for a celebration for something, for an event. And then so then I got back to the UK just like extremely tired and hungover, and then we had to drive up there and then I got sick and then we get to the top and I just, you know, because I had like a lot of my stuff in the van already, I didn't really think about like, oh, I need this or I need that, you know. Really, all I needed is a bank card and my skateboard, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, what else do I really need? So I just kind of like, and you know, everything else you kind of just figure out on the way. So, so it was definitely loose, but like,
but it worked out. Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna figure it out, aren't you?
I watched. I don't know if you watched that, but this guy Chad Caruso who skated across the U.S. I think it was maybe a couple years ago now. Or a year ago or something.
Yeah, that's madness, man. I can't even imagine. What's that, like 5,000 miles or something?
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know how long, but it's ridiculous. Yeah, but he was preparing in the sense that he was like doing like sessions of pushing, you know, for like 5 hours or something for a few days before. I was wondering if you had done that a little bit as well, like just you know, going like for a few hours pushing around or something, just to build the muscles up a little bit. I mean, I know you're a pro skater, so you're already conditioned to be skating, but like to be rolling for so long and pushing, it's a whole other thing than just, you know, being at a spot and just doing flat ground or just skating a specific spot or whatever. So
I definitely was like somewhat I was knuckling down and trying to condition myself and kind of just do like more long distance pushing, because, you know, street skating and stuff, it's all in short sprints, right? You're not doing any like long distance stuff. You kind of just, you know, stop and starting a lot. I was definitely doing long distance pushing and swimming a lot and doing a lot of stretching and like core workouts and this and that, and probably not as much as I should have. If I were to do something like that again, I'd know exactly where I stand with it and like what I need to do. Whereas obviously because that was my first time, I didn't really know. I kind of underestimated it, you know, slightly. But yeah, I was like, I'd just push around on the cruiser to spots. I would push to a spot on the cruiser board and then skate the spot on my street board. That's how I was doing. So if I was leaving to go to a spot in London and it was like a 50-minute ride, I'd just cruise there instead and then I'd skate it. So I don't know, I was trying to stay active and just do it like that. It was never like intense. There was never intense training, but
okay. And did you feel any like how do you say like cramps or whatever, like stuff like that the first few days? Like weren't your legs too tired or exhausted after pushing for so many hours the first few days?
Do you know what? The muscles weren't really a problem. It was more the Achilles on my. Actually, both beat.
Yeah, I think it's mentioned in the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, it got really tight, like to the point where it was actually really painful. And then I just, I'd massage them and stretch them out more and ice them, and it would definitely help, but it was still painful. And then I'd alternate feet a lot, and that's something I would have never. I don't know, I just would have never imagined that happening. I'd have never anticipated that happening. I don't know, that's not the last thing I thought was going to start hurting. You'd think it'd be like you say, cramping up, or your hip or your knee or this or that.
Yeah, exactly.
My Achilles was kind of the last thing I thought would be giving me jip. But then it made so much sense when I was doing it, because you're just springing off your toes for hours,
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the cold and the wet didn't help, but Like, say, for example, I did that one around Iceland in the springtime or the summer, whenever he's trying to do it. I'd know exactly the key points of where I'd need to strengthen and work out before going now, you know?
Yeah.
It's experience, right? I guess if you have the experience, you kind of know a little more. So if I were to go into another one, I'd kind of know exactly where I stood. I know what to expect.
What to do, how to prepare, condition yourself, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, what about etnies? Like what he was asking about etnies. Basically, his question was what does it take to stick with one brand for life?
Yeah, I mean, yes, funny because it's been so long.
Do you know how long? When did you start writing for them?
I can't remember when I first started getting shoes, but
like 20 years ago, or like
it's
almost?
It's gotta be. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I was just started getting given shoes, and then I just slowly started like kind of getting those little promotions where you're going up into like the European side, and then they're going on trips, and then all of a sudden like those years have passed, and I'm doing more stuff with the US, and I kind of I was given opportunities, and I was happy with where I was or where I am, and getting along with the team, and just everything. I just felt comfortable, and I think that's a big part to play in it. And then I think the time just flies by, and then all of a sudden it's just here we are 20 years later, however long it's been, and I don't know, but there's definitely been a lot of changes throughout that time.
Entirely new team, it's
and I just think, I mean, they've helped me out so much, and I just feel like I just have been comfortable, I've been happy, so I've just not really actually given it that much thought. I think you'd think about it a lot more if you weren't happy, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that's why it just felt easy. So there you go.
It's changed quite a lot, and it looks from a distance that the team has changed quite a lot in recent times. Like I saw Chris Johnson has gone to Lakai, and a bunch of other people are off. But who else is still on the team? Like among people that have been with you for quite a while, like who are the other longest standing team riders? I guess.
I guess just Nick Garcia.
Oh yeah,
he'd be the other
long-term rider.
Well, even I think longer than me even.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if not actually around about the same time, but I guess I'm thinking more stateside. So and then other than that, everyone else that's still on is relatively new to the squad, maybe just a few years, unless I'm forgetting someone, which I don't think I am. But I mean, it doesn't. I feel like it's just a number. It's just a year, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course.
Doesn't matter if you're new or you're old on the team. You're a part of the team. It's good.
Yeah. As long as you feel comfortable there and you're like taken care of, and they support you.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's all you can really ask for.
I have a question from Leo Sharp. He said, how many times did you slam skating from John O'Groats to Land's End?
Well, actually once.
Just once? Okay.
One time, and it was actually, I think it's in the documentary actually. You see he caught the slam on camera, and I disappear in front of the van. I was pushing uphill and I kicked the wheel, and somehow this scorpion going uphill. First thing in the morning as well, a way to start the day. It actually didn't even put a down on the day. It kind of gets you more motivated. You're like, oh, here we go.
More alert. Yeah.
I think by that point we were quite excited because we were getting towards the end as well. So,
yeah,
but thankfully that one time was the only time I fell, because there were definitely some near misses, and the terrain and the roads I was skating down for that entire journey were pretty dangerous. So
yeah. Some of the downhills you were taking seemed very long and steep, and
there was the ones in Dartmoor were I was going really fast, way faster than I've ever been on a skateboard. It was, because you got these big open roads, and you're just on these huge soft wheels. In the footage, it almost doesn't look like you're going that fast, but you know how fast you're going because they're driving behind you, and they've obviously got a speedometer in the van. So
yeah. Do you know what's the fastest you've gone during that trip? Did the guys tell you in the car how fast you were going?
I don't know exactly, but it was faster than 30 miles an hour.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's very
it's
fast.
pretty fast. Yeah, it's you don't want to be falling off going that
No.
fast in shorts and t-shirt on really rough ground as well. It's not the place to be.
Leo also asked, who is Sir Digby Chicken Caesar?
There's this program called Mitchell and Webb Look, and it's just kind of like these two characters in it, Sir Digby Chicken Caesar being one of them, but they're just like these homeless couple that go around, like friends that just go around the streets just getting up to random shit pretty much. But I haven't heard that name in a while, but yeah, it's pretty funny. Check it out if you haven't checked it out there. I haven't watched it in a long time. Yeah. Was it Leo that asked about that?
Yeah, Leo.
Yeah, Sir Digby Chicken Caesar, yeah. But there was this homeless guy actually in Exeter where I grew up, and he looked very similar to the character in Mitchell and Webb Look, and we actually called him Sir Digby because he actually his mannerisms, his style, is like everything about him looked like Sir Digby Chicken Caesar. So yeah, we almost had a real life one.
I have a question from Sam McGuire. So let's see, he said, from the push across the UK, ask him about the castle. Maybe ask him about how on the trip it would be really emotional because people would track us down to give us money. One time we were on this side road, trying to get away from traffic. This car was tailgating us, honking, being wild. And finally we were like, fuck, I guess we maybe have to start to fight this guy. And we stop and open the doors to confront him. And he gets out and we start to sort of yell at him. And he's like, here, take this money. My brother died from suicide and I wanted to stop you guys to cheer you on. There were lots of those little moments on the trip.
Yeah, it was odd because we'd encountered quite a few people that were quite aggressive and nasty. So you didn't really know what to expect every time we got stopped. And then this time, yeah, of course, it feels like you're being approached quite aggressively if someone's beeping in the back of the car, and we've already had to deal with people like that. And yeah, but I mean, there was a lot of positivity throughout that journey, and a lot of people that stopped us were, they're very thankful for the cause, and especially this guy. And you're kind of like taken back by it for a second there, especially with that situation, I think, because I think he was expecting the worst, and then it was like the best out of that situation that could have possibly happened. And then with him sharing the story and donating money to the cause, and we weren't asking for money the entire journey. We weren't asking for like physical cash at all, but people just genuinely wanted to stop and sing our praises and give us some money. So we ended up actually physically, we raised quite a bit of money and had a big pot on the way down, which was like really cool. But it's just nice that people, they kind of saw it for what it was, and they got attached to the idea and motivated and wanted to share their own personal experiences. And like the whole reason of doing it was for opening up a conversation about suicide. And, that itself was working, and that was like a good enough reason to already have done it. So,
for sure.
Yeah, which was really cool.
And what about the castle? Like, I remember seeing in the documentary that she stayed, like this woman, you were talking to her on the side of the road, and she invited you to stay at her place. And she was like, oh, we have a lot of bedrooms, whatever. And you got there and it was actually a castle. And can you tell us just about that night and that encounter?
Yeah. The sad part is that Sam actually had to go back to the US for a couple of days for work, and the couple of days he wasn't with us is when we stayed at the castle, so he didn't get to experience it. Yeah, but it was such a nice thing to tie into the documentary, because I think we were coming over the border into England that day, and it was like the last few miles, and the weather was terrible that day especially, and we just pulled over on the side of the road so I could get a drink of water, and randomly this car pulls up on the other side of the road on the hard shoulder, and puts the hazards on, and this woman walks across in a big coat, and she's kind of just really surprised at what we're doing and for the cause, and just interested, and invites us to go dry our clothes off and have dinner at their house, and if we wanted to stay there for the night because they had enough room for us to stay, and this and that. And I kind of didn't want to go back and backtrack and like stay at someone's house. I just wanted to keep pushing forward. And then I think the others were kind of just like, well, it could be cool for the story, and like it's nice. They seemed like really nice people, and so we were like, you know what, let's just do it. So I think we messaged or called Ella, and then Yeah, I think they gave us the address, and I think someone Googled it or got the directions, and then you could obviously see like a Google image picture of this estate or this like castle, and we're like, wait, hold on a second. Like, this is the spot. It's like, they live in a fucking castle. And then we're like, well, we definitely have to go now. And it was so wild. So we drive back. It was only like a few miles away. And then just as you enter the estate, though, you still had to drive for like 10, 15 minutes through the land before you even got to the house. And even the gatehouse was like an incredible house. You know, like you didn't need much, like people wouldn't need much more than that gatehouse, you know.
Yeah.
And then you arrive and it's just this, old medieval castle. And yeah, just like ended up staying there for the night and drinking some whiskey by the fire with Roger, the guy that owned the property, and just having dinner and sharing stories, and all had our own bedrooms with these like huge canopies, like fireplaces at your feet, and all decorated still in like the 17th century, 18th century decor, and just everything was pristine. And I don't know, it was really, really wild.
Yeah.
Really cool experience. We actually managed to stay there. We went to visit them again on I think maybe a year later. We were Sherman and Erin, they were up in Inverness, and I went to see them. Mm-hmm. And we were driving back down to London, and we hit them up like, we'll stop and go and say hello and have a cup of tea or whatever. And then we ended up staying for another night actually, and had dinner with them again, and like hung out, and which was really cool after that whole thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. While still talking about Land's End, I have this question from Susie Crome from the Ben Raemers Foundation. She said, I think I would want to ask about how impressive Barney was with fundraising and the promotion and sharing of the Land's End film. And I know it was quite challenging for him, as it placed him in the spotlight or centered him in conversations around mental health and suicide prevention, which at times may have been outside of his comfort zone. It was greatly appreciated and inspired so many people. And maybe just ask him how he's feeling about this whole experience.
Definitely out of my comfort zone, that's for sure. And also I haven't studied the whole realm of mental health, and I don't have answers for it. I'm not a professional.
Of course.
So I can just, that's the whole thing, is you try and, encourage people to go and see a professional, right? But then after the film came out, and we had premieres here, there, kind of felt like everywhere. People would come up and they'd want to exchange stories or tell me about their troubles and this and that. And all I could be is just an ear and listen to it. And, they're never easy conversations to have. A lot of them are quite sad. And for me, it was very challenging because I didn't really know exactly what to say. But I think listening is probably the most important thing out of all of it anyway. So and then what can you do other than kind of encourage and be like an ear to listen to their story, and it's supporting people, I guess. So that was very challenging. And each film premiere we went to, that happened each time. So, and they were kind of back to back, so it was very exhausting after a while. And then we did a couple of talks afterwards on stage, and you'd have so many people asking you questions, and it's I've never had to do anything like that, so that was definitely challenging. When you kind of got into rhythm with it, and chatting, and some good questions were flowing, and you're having a good chat, was a lot easier. But always, every time we were going up there, I was just a bit I was so nervous, and I had to have a couple of beers to calm the nerves, and it's hard.
No, I can understand that. It must be quite challenging, but
I just never thought it would, because like I said earlier, one of the questions, I never thought it was actually going to be a documentary piece, the way it unraveled and turned out to be, because I wasn't even going to have it documented at the beginning, and it was only because Sherman came and he was so passionate and caring about the whole project that he wanted to do the best he possibly could, which he did, and then it was just this amazing piece, and it deserved the light, so being on that stage then, thinking I didn't ever expect it to be there, and all of a sudden I'm having to all this stuff, but which is completely fine, and it was nice to share it with people, and definitely hard at times.
Especially doing them back to back, like you said. Like if you do it once, that's already quite demanding. But then if you have to do it again the next day, or like a few in a row or something, it must. I can see that being quite draining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a question from Lucy Raemers. She asked a couple of things. Maybe we could do one of her questions. I'll just read you what she sent. She said, "What is your favorite and funniest memory with Ben? When you were doing the incredible skating to Land's End, did you have any unanswered questions that came to the forefront that you would want to ask Ben? And then what word would you use to describe Benjamin Raemers? Give Barney my love."
Do you know what? There's so many things I could say and so many stories about, all like favourites or whatnot. But the one that hits me most, or like after everything happened, was before moving to London. Every time I would fly back to the UK from whatever trip, Ben was living in London then, and he was just always the first person I would message every time I'd landed or I was about to take off to land, and then immediately I'd go and meet him. And that was kind of my favourite bits of it, my favourite just parts of like him living here and just having him here and like being able to just hit him up and just like having such a good friend like on your doorstep when you come home, and like it's not even like we would go skating, we just hang out and just like kick it and just have a laugh, and it was just nice to have him here. And then I think after his passing, every time still when I was coming to fly here, like my hand would be floating over the screen like wanting to message him, and then you obviously remember. I don't know. It's difficult, but I definitely cherish those moments.
Do you remember when you first met with Ben? Was it in London as well?
No, I think the first time I ever met Ben was actually at this random festival in Somerset called NAS, and I must have been about 15 or 16. Okay. And it was just like a sports festival with a contest, and everyone would camp and just run around being reckless and having fun. But that was I think that probably was the first time I met Ben, and then it was just more like skating in events and stuff around the UK, and then just hanging certain trips and
He was an Enjoi, and I know you were getting Enjoi boards for a little bit before you eventually got on Sour, I believe. But was it through Ben kind of that connection with Enjoi begin, or?
No, well, it was the distribution over here in London, and then I was just skating with Ben a lot at that time anyway, and then I started getting boards, and then I went on a couple trips around Europe and Scandinavia, and then I did my first stint in the US, which Ben was there the whole time, and I stayed with Ben at Jerry's house, just living in the basement. And so we did like I think I was there for about 90 days, so 3 months, and we just like kicked it there the whole time. And it was a really good time, really good time. Perfect person to go out to the States with the first time. It was nice having a friend from back home. You kind of understand each other's humour a little more.
For sure.
Yeah, so that was really comforting to have him there the whole time at the beginning like that as well, because he was at that time he was really established in the US as well. It's he was already pro, and like he'd been out there like so many times, and it was just nice to have sort of an open arm to like help you and encourage you when you're there, and just someone to fuck around with and drink a beer with and have a laugh with.
Let's see. Well, switching gears, this one is from Nisse Ingemarsson. I hope I'm not butchering his name too much.
No, that was good, I think.
From Sour. Good enough.
Yeah.
After all these years on Sour as an English person, how have you handled being around a group of weirdos who speak Swedish all the time?
Oh, we're all weirdos, mate. Oh, no, it's funny. It'd be different if they weren't good at speaking English, but you can't expect people in a crew where it's predominantly Swedish to speak in English all the time. It's just not a thing, is it?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's actually really nice to have another language over spoken English, because sometimes it's nice to have the overall language being Swedish spoken, because you just kind of have a moment to sit back and just like have that language barrier and be able to relax and not be in a conversation,
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I guess in the reality of things, if I had just learnt Swedish, it'd be fine, but I never did. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing bad about that. It's kind of cool being out of your comfort zone like that. I enjoy it. But yeah, as for the weirdo part, I mean, everyone's strange in their own unique way, aren't they?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely some interesting characters on the Sauer team. Like you're all kind of interesting, different kind of skaters. Like
yeah, they're a funny mix of people to be together. It's good.
Yeah.
Miss those guys. Haven't been on a trip with those guys in a while. Always seem to miss them being busy on other things. But
all right, this one.
Yeah, Barney, it's Oscar. Your canal boat's got me thinking. If money weren't an object, what other vehicles or big fun things would you like to one day potentially own or use?
I don't know. Well, if money wasn't an option, or if money wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
If money wasn't a problem, what vehicle would I use?
or did he say big fun thing? I think that's what he said, right?
Yeah. I mean, if financially you could just do anything, you'd do something crazy, wouldn't you? You'd have to I don't know. That's a good. I can't say I've sat there and thought about that, but something that would move fast. You'd want to. I don't know. You'd want a big plane or something.
Yeah.
I mean, live on a plane?
Live
that'd be kind of sick.
For sure.
That'd be kind of. I don't think it. Well, I'm sure people kind of. Well, I mean, rich people aren't going to be living on a plane because they just use it as a form of transport, don't they? But if you could just actually live on a plane on the runway and just dip out in that'd be very expensive, not very eco-friendly, but
yeah, for sure.
You could really get some air miles going though.
Yeah, definitely. This one from, so I'm going to butcher his name again. Sorry, everybody, for butchering your names. Bas Janssen or Janssen from Soltec, or Nyberg, I think it's called now.
Yeah.
He said, Barney, from owning boats to vans, traveling to the unknown to find hidden gems to skate, to riding the UK end to end, where does your drive for traveling come from? And on a more personal note, when is the motorcycle coming so we can do a trip on bikes?
Do you know that it's actually a bit of a dream of mine to purchase a motorcycle and do a trip on a bike. And I know Bas is really into it.
Okay.
He's got a really cool bike. He's been over here and gone through the UK a few times, I think. I don't really know where I got the bug from. Yeah, I tell you what though, my grandparents have travelled a lot.
I was seeing that in the documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've been very inspired by them, and just going around their house just when I'm younger, and listening to their stories and seeing all their cool things they've purchased from around the world, and I don't know, I think that kind of drove me a bit to travel. But also I think just in general, being in the world of skating, it's very travel orientated, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously you still have to enjoy traveling to want to do it or to push yourself to do it. You could very much just live in a good city for skating and not have to travel much. But I think, just having the opportunity to travel freely and kind of knowing what's out there and having friends that are all very travel orientated, and my grandparents at the beginning, and I don't know, just enjoying the road for what it is and making the most of it. I think that kind of, for myself personally, I've just wanted to make the most of my opportunity I have now.
Of course, yeah.
And I feel very fortunate that I've been able to travel to the places I've had and meet the people I've met along the way. Yeah, really kind of blessed for that. So I just think skating has been a huge part in it. Obviously, family, and I guess just the opportunity just via sponsors and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's not going to be easy. You don't have the same schedule as the 9-to-5 job. So
yeah,
it makes things possible. But then again, you still really have to want to travel as well as
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I find it interesting because I'm kind of the opposite. In the sense, the only experience I got of traveling was between 2010 and 2011. I did this master's program where I studied wine business.
Right.
And that was my first job for a little bit, working in the wine industry. And so I visited, flew around to, I think, 20 different countries to visit wineries and meet with wine importers and people in the industry, and just learn about all that. So it was amazing, but I was a little too young to do that. I was 23 and I was drinking all the time and just being, I was on my way to becoming an alcoholic, and now I'm a bit sober for a bit, but anyways,
okay.
I'm just mentioning that because this is the only experience I had of traveling for so long, like leaving for 3 months, 4 months and not going home. and basically living out of hotels and, hostels and people's couches. And looking back, it's amazing. But I remember at the time, I felt miserable. It made the whole experience very difficult for me, just because I think I'm so used to my environment, sleeping in the same bed, being like that. I need kind of a place to recharge my batteries. And when you're traveling all the time, I don't know how you do that. So I'm just so amazed by people like you who manage to just, have a lifetime of traveling and seem to just, feel comfortable everywhere. And
well, I tell you what, a big secret of mine is why, because I completely understand that if you're you have your comfort zone, you have your bubble you live in, and you miss that when you're away, and it makes it more difficult because you're missing home, your own bed, and this and that.
Yeah,
I completely understand that. But from when I left school up until I got this boat, I never had a place I've rented for longer than 2 months or 3 months staying somewhere.
Right.
So I never actually had a place I was like, I miss my home, because I've never had something for an extended period of time. So that's just felt like home, the road, I guess.
Yeah.
So it made it a little more bearable. But having said that, there was obviously moments where you're like, I just need to be like in a room by myself for like 4 days and not speak to anyone and recharge my batteries and this and that. You know? So I think there's always a time that's gonna present itself where you need to have a little space for yourself and recharge your batteries, like you say.
Yeah, I think some people it comes a bit easier for them. Like you're definitely one of them. But I'm so grateful that I got to experience that thing I mentioned. But I think I just learned then that I'm just not. I couldn't do that like for too long. Like I just get too exhausted too quick. So. But no, it's amazing. Like again, looking back, some of the best memories of my life, and I'm sure like you've had a lifetime of incredible traveling and skating everywhere, and that's lucky. Pretty wild. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you're like hungover every morning, it's not going to be any easier either.
Yeah. That definitely didn't help. Yeah. No, I mean, I was very young. I was 23, and in that whole, we were traveling with a bunch, like I think 20 different people, and some of these guys were like severe alcoholics, and they were every night after visiting wineries where we would taste wine, but we would spit it, so we weren't drunk the whole day, whatever, But it was in the evening, wherever we were, we just went to a bar and had like 15 pints and just shots and and when you're 23 you can drink a lot, and but then I was having blackouts and just all sorts of ridiculous situations, and then anyways it was it led me to a path of alcoholism, really pretty gnarly alcoholism. So but again it was fun. It was what I remember was amazing. It was really really cool, but just a little too much. And if I had done that a bit later in life, maybe I would have, taken a step back and been like, no, I'm not going to go have beers like tomorrow morning we're waking up early.
I mean, you'd be a little more sensible by that point if you did it later on in life.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't ever blame yourself for that. It's just you in your younger years growing up. I think anyone in a position that you're in at 23 years old is going to probably end up doing the same thing. I mean, I would have for sure. So.
You feel invincible at that age, but you aren't.
No one is.
All right, let's do this one.
So here's my question for Barney Page. So hi Barney Page, I miss you and I love you. Were you born a salty sea dog, or did you slowly become a salty sea dog? Bye.
Could you recognize the voice?
Yeah, Yann.
Yes. Yann Horowitz.
I don't even know the answer there.
Can you tell us what a salty sea dog is? Because I have no idea.
I guess there's someone that's just living on the road.
Okay.
I'm guessing. Or like I don't know, I always thought like a salty sea dog would be like a surfer living in a van. I just always would kind of relate it to seawater, but I guess he's thinking more on the skateboarding sides of things. But but yeah, no, I think I just kind of edged my way in there after school, and I've been a salty little bastard since. But but it's a nice way to do it, I think. It's making memories and meeting people like Yann. Salty sea dog himself. Miss that guy. It's so nice to see him every time. I just think you just get rounded into it over time, don't you? It's just how it is.
I have a question from Albert Nyberg, another Sour teammate. He said, I have very fond memories of traveling and skating with Barney. He's one of a kind. So he said a couple things, but maybe we could just stop on this one because I thought it was a pretty funny one. I seem to recall some sort of thing about his past sponsors not wanting him to wear shorts so much.
Yeah, I did. I just
ring a
always wear shorts. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I did get torn off of that.
Do you remember what brand asked you to cut put the pants back on?
I really can't. But yeah, no, it does ring a bell actually.
You were a precursor to Niger?
Wow, you've really got to be wearing shorts all the time for someone to say that, haven't you?
It's funny. I hadn't even noticed it. I was watching a little bit some of your parts just preparing for this, and you do wear a bunch of shorts here and there, but that's also because you're traveling to places that are pretty warm and it's in the summer or whatever. So it makes sense that you would be wearing shorts, but
yeah, making the most of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you grow up in the cold, you want to have your legs out when you can, you know.
Exactly.
I know. I also think it just became a thing where I got so used to skating in shorts that it felt weird to wear trousers, and then when I put trousers on, I felt like I couldn't skate because it just felt so odd. So then it became like some sort of weird OCD thing where I just couldn't wear trousers, you know.
Yeah, you didn't feel like you were in your skate gear anymore.
Yeah, you'd look down and it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But then that often happens if I don't wear shorts for a long time and then I wear shorts, it feels strange having shorts.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So, it's the same thing. But I definitely rolled with the short side of things for quite a while there. Yeah, where I'm guessing people obviously were telling me off about it.
That's funny. Let's see, I have this one from Sami Seppala.
Yeah.
Who works for Sauer, I think, right?
He does. So he was actually... he was the guy that hit me up to give me Enjoi boards the first time because he used to work for Dwindle here in the UK. Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually went on the first trip with Sami, and Ben was on there, and we went to Finland, Sweden, and Russia.
Oh wow!
It was like a really cool trip. Just taking the cruise liners across the night boats and stuff. It was a heavy time, a fun time, but definitely heavy. Yeah, but that was Sami was along on that trip as well. But then he started working for Sauer years later.
Okay. He said to ask you about your nicest, funniest memory of the hot knives times.
Yeah, Ben was on that trip as well, actually. We were in Gran Canaria, and it was a lot at that time, a load of people that were getting boards from Dwindle. Mm-hmm. So it would have been people that were riding for Cliche or getting Enjoi stuff, or whatever board companies were on there at the time. Can't remember though. But he just did a hot knives trip. He just got a group of people from the UK that were getting boards via the distro, and just took us all to Gran Canaria, and we just kind of filmed an edit and just drunk a lot of beers, and hot knives being you'd I don't know why it became the gimmick of the trip, but I actually don't even know if I was smoking it, but you would heat up knives on the stove, and then you'd put a lump of hash on the knife, and then it would smoke the hash, and then you'd just inhale the smoke over the hot knife. But it just became this thing that was happening every evening, where we were just doing hot knives, and then in the end, the end result was the article in the magazine was called Hot Knives.
Okay.
That was a very fun trip, actually. A lot of really good heads on that one. That was a great time, and it was perfect because it was such a good escape from being in the British wintertime. Yeah, it was definitely quite late on in the year, and you were in the Canary Islands, and it was probably 24 degrees. You could still just go swim in the sea in the morning and lay in the sun, and it was brilliant.
Much nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, I have this one from Martin Sandberg. He said, I want to know what the most difficult maneuver is with this longboat.
Reversing, easy.
Okay.
You can't steer it if you're reversing because it's a tiller that you're actually manoeuvring the boat with. So the propeller obviously runs into the tiller, which maneuvers the boat. So if you're going in reverse, it's not hitting the tiller. So you have to do it in bursts of forward to then straighten the boat up. So if you're doing a reverse park, it's quite difficult. Or if you're doing a U-turn somewhere where it's a little too narrow, it can be. I've been in some since buying the boat, I've been in some pretty sticky situations.
Oh
where
yeah,
I'm
sure.
a bit stuck, but that's the only way to learn,
Yeah, well, yeah.
But yeah, reversing is a bit of a nightmare at times. But when you do it perfectly, you feel like such a G.
Yes.
Like I've honestly because it's kind of like overpopulated with boats here on the canals in certain parts of London, and you know, when you come across a spot, you kind of have to see it and be like, is the boat going to fit in there? You know, because it's very long, and you just kind of do it. We've got to do it by eye.
Yeah.
And there's been often times where I've reversed into a spot, and there's honestly only been about half a foot on the front and back between boats.
Oh wow!
And I've not even touched the boat on the way in.
Oh my god!
And and I was just like, feel like such a G.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. But you know, when you're like reversing in spots, even moving, it moves so slow anyway. It's like
yeah.
You're not really, unless some people live on like fiberglass speedboats on the canal, which I don't understand how that's even a thing. It must be fucking freezing, and they're so small. And then obviously, like, this boat is made out of steel, right? If you went a couple of miles an hour into like a fiberglass speedboat, it's going to destroy it. It's probably going to sink it, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to be very cautious if you're reversing next to a speedboat.
One of those. Yeah.
Because it's like you might be going so slow, but you know, this boat's probably in weight 16 tons, so it's very heavy.
Wow.
You know. Yeah, it's quite heavy.
How long is it? How many feet or meters, do you know?
It's 17.5 meters long.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's funny. A few months ago, I did a skate trip in the boat and went up west up the Thames.
Okay.
And there were 6 of us on the trip, and we were all sleeping in the boat.
Oh, nice. Wow.
And because it's obviously narrow, we just all slept in single file. Like two in the bed, one in the workshop, and then 2 here, and then 1 on the couch.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's all single file. It was quite funny. And, you know, everyone had to go to bed at the same time because you can't walk around each other. So everyone went to bed at the same time and woke up at the same time, because if someone starts moving around, it's
like the army.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually a really funny way to do a skate trip.
Yeah.
Very, very niche, but hopefully the edit and the article come out looking good. I think they will.
Where is it coming out? Do you know? Like free or?
No, it was for Thrasher. So I think it might be out around January. I think was the word now, because obviously it's like sotty season now, isn't it? So
yeah.
I think January or February. The article needs to come out before the edit, of course. So yeah, but it'll be nice to see it come out. You know, I think because all the spots we kind of found on that trip were untouched. We found the spots there; they weren't known, and they're all quite unique in these random little villages off the main river. And we slowly just cruised down into London, and then had a couple of days in the city after that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to do a skate trip for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's been done before, like if other people have ever done a similar trip,
I know Mackie.
Mackie Benson?
No, Mackie. He's now works for New Balance, but it was actually a New Balance trip.
Oh, Dave Mackie. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's right. And they kind of years ago, I remember seeing it. They attempted doing it, but I don't think they kind of executed it properly. But
okay.
in his defence, when they tried to complete the journey, it would have been very difficult, because when I bought this boat, I bought it up in North Wales and took it down through the Midlands, and each village or the town or the cities is so far and few between, and the links for the trains, it's not easy to get around and this and that. So strategically, it doesn't really work going through the Midlands. You'd need a lot of time. Whereas because I only went maybe 17 miles out of London, and I was on the main river of the Thames, all the public transport and all the villages and towns are all very close and condensed together along the river. And
right.
If we were struggling for spots, it would only be 25 minutes on the Elizabeth line to get into central London, and we could escape spots in London. Mm-hmm. So logistically it worked out for us purely because of that reason. If we were up in the Midlands on the same route they chose to do it on, it would have been very, very, very difficult. A complete different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. This one's from Aidan Campbell. Something we mentioned earlier, he said after seeing Barney, signed up to skate around Iceland with Stu Graham in a crew for the Ben Raemers Foundation.
Oh wow, this has really been yeah. What the what?
I didn't know about it, but
I didn't know either.
now you kind of have to.
This is crazy. What the hell? It's been announced. I'm not even like.
Now it's announced on this podcast. He said, "How different will he prepare compared to the previous long distance skate?"
Well, we kind of had that conversation earlier. I was saying that,
yeah.
you know, because I kind of like jumped in the deep end last time, not really knowing what to expect. So I would definitely train up my ankles and stretch a lot more.
Yeah.
And probably have a lower set skateboard. Because my board was so high before.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And I don't know if it, you know, it was great to have these huge wheels, but I don't think the wheels needed to be as big as they were.
You could trim them down a little, yeah. How big
Just
were
being,
they? Like 60 or something? Or
yeah, I think maybe even bigger, maybe like 65 even, maybe 70. I don't know. They are really big.
Yeah, they look pretty big.
Monster track wheels, which obviously was great, but I just don't, I think it was a bit over the top for what I actually did need. I could have probably skated down Everest with those wheels.
That could be an idea for a new trip. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just certain things just like training up the ankles and the feet and stretching an awful lot more beforehand as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I think everything else was kind of on point. I felt pretty good. Everything else, yeah. I mean, whatever you do in those situations and journeys like that, it's always going to be a battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't go in there with the mindset thinking it's going to be easy because you know it's not going to be.
Yeah, there's going to be some effort and some suffering.
Yeah. And also, I think if you went into it with the mindset that it's going to be easy, it's going to make it 10 times harder.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right, I have just a few last ones.
What up, Barney? This is Nestor. I'm thinking of that trip we took with Patrik to Madagascar, like over a little 10 years ago or something. I wonder if you have a good memory from that you want to share. And two-parter, because after that you went on a bunch of trips with Patrik to different unique locations. Like, is there something that stood out to you from those places? What made you want to keep going on that adventure?
That's really funny. I just come back from a trip with Nestor and Patrik, like maybe under 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went to, well, my trip was extended, but I went to Bhutan with Patrik and Nestor.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah, it slipped my mind, but I did see you were there.
Yeah. So yeah, with his charity-based organisation.
Salad Days. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Must have been interesting. Yeah, Bhutan. It must have been quite an experience.
It was such a trip.
Yeah,
it was such a privilege to go there, and I'm so thankful to be invited. It was really nice. But yeah, Madagascar was a really wild one. That's probably definitely top 5
favorite trips you've been on.
Yeah, it was just everything. But just being there and just being like, I just don't feel like many people have ever been to Madagascar. I didn't realise actually how big the island was and just how unique our trip was there. You know, having domestic flights within the country and meeting all the locals and skating and seeing like the condition of even the boards they're skating and how hyped they are, the community-based stuff, and I don't know, just the wildlife, the landscapes, like everything about it. Like even just in the centre of Antananarivo, just the taxis there and how they all run, they were just absurd. Mm-hmm. Fuel tanks in the front under the legs of the steering wheel.
Oh wow, really?
That's what and they just manually put fuel in from their driver's seat.
Wow.
It felt very dangerous. Yeah, but just I don't know, everything about that trip and this. Yeah, we had a part where we were, you know, in the capital, and then we were down to Morondava, and where all the baobab trees are, and all the, you know, all the natives just living around the trees, and just the whole experience of just like you're just on this incredible beach, and it feels like a tourist that's never been there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
mm-hmm.
It's just so nice to be that far out of your comfort zone. And,
yeah,
I don't know, and we had such a good crew there, and.
Who was there? So Patrik, Nestor, who else was on that trip?
I think Brian Dolly, and then Wilco, which he sadly passed away, which was sadly suicide as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that was shortly after that. And then Patrik, and it wasn't like the
Kenny
Denny
Reed
Pham.
or
Denny Pham was
Denny
there.
Pham? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Michi Makrot, maybe.
No. Yeah, I've actually never been on a trip with that guy. He seems like a good person to go on a trip with.
Yeah, he's been on a bunch of Patrik Wallner trips.
He's been on a lot of. I think that's where I know him most from is the trips he's been on with Patrik. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was just an incredible place to get to and travel. So unique. And
what about the skating there? Was it was it well received by the locals, kind of, or were they?
It was funny. There was a part in the. Well, I mean, there were only skateboarders in the capital. Like when we went down to Morindava, there was. I mean, they'd probably never seen a skateboard.
Yeah.
But the locals there, a few of them got quite upset with us at one point because we went to these street spots, and then between street spots, instead of pushing like 4 miles to the next spot, we were getting in taxis, and they were kind of getting all upset with us, claiming that we weren't real skateboarders because we weren't pushing between spots. Yeah, we copped some heat from a couple of them, and it was a bit awkward for a second. You know, there were a lot of kids skating there that obviously didn't care, but like I think the guys that were showing us around that we'd been talking to beforehand weren't happy with it.
Yeah, they were like, why would you do this? Or,
yeah, it was, which made it quite awkward and just a bit, we couldn't really understand, but it's just one of those things. And then in the end, we all actually brought extra skate stuff over with us to donate to, the locals there. And then the guys that were kind of giving us a bit of heat in the end were kind of, very, very thankful that we had donated all this product to their local community and, brought a tear to their eye, and we kind of shook it off.
Yeah.
It was quite strange.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's more they just don't obviously understand. It's so difficult to try and skate spots all day, but then having to push like an hour between spots, you're just going to get too tired.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
It's just difficult. But yeah, and I mean, not like there were many spots to skate there, but we were still trying our best. There's always something you can find.
Yeah, for sure.
On a dusty little side road, yeah.
Maybe they wanted to like just be on that cruise with you between spots or something, but they were a little bummed.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, they just wanted to I just think they just wanted to go around like a huge crew, no one splitting up, and everyone like pushing spot to spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like there are about 30 of them. And it's quite overwhelming if you're trying to skate a spot and you've just got like crazy amount of people.
Yeah.
It feels more like a demo when there's that many people.
For sure. What about other trips among your favorite ones? Like you mentioned Madagascar. Like what are some other destinations with or without Patrik that have really stuck out to you?
Well, this last one to Bhutan was unbelievable. Everything about it was just...
How long were you out there for? Like a week, 2 weeks?
Well, I was in Asia for 3 weeks, but I went to Bhutan for just the 1 week.
Okay. Where were you before that?
I went to Thailand, and then there was a few homies that live in Bangkok that were attending the trip, and I think there's only 2 places you can fly into Bhutan from, and Bangkok being one of them.
Okay.
So it was just easier for me to go there first, and I was like, well, may as well just hang out there for a week and skate a bit. And then went to Bhutan for a week, and then I came back to Thailand and then flew to Hong Kong to stay with Patrik because that's where he lives.
Yeah,
and
right.
then he's filming a project right now in Hong Kong, so I went to try and get some clips for his video project.
Oh, nice! Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and that was actually my first trip in Hong Kong as well. So I've been meaning to go out there and visit him and his little daughter and wife for a couple of years now. So it was nice to finally make it out there. It was like the perfect opportunity to go. So being so close, it's so close to Thailand.
Yeah.
I think it was under 2 hours to fly it.
Yeah, I can't believe you. This was your first time in Hong Kong, like of all places.
Yeah.
I would have assumed you had already been there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been next door, but
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
In mainland China, but Bhutan was out of this world. It was just even from the beginning of like just the entry point going there, and you're flying over the Himalayas and you can see the summit of Everest as you start descending into Bhutan, and then you're just winding through these mountain valleys where it feels like the wings on either side of the plane are going to clip the mountain edge. And then you just land in this huge valley, and then you're just like, whoa, that was wild. It was like a theme park ride.
Yeah.
There, And then yeah, it was just like the most perfect climate. It was like so warm in the day, around about 24, 25, and then it would get cold at night. But it's this crisp, dry mountain air, and everything was... There was like cannabis plants that grow around everywhere in the streets and in the fields,
Okay, yeah.
on the side of the roads. And I mean, I don't personally smoke weed, but just to see wild cannabis plants just growing everywhere was like... You know, I mean, when are you ever going to see that? You know,
Yeah, definitely not here in Europe. Yeah.
We're at the skate park in the city in Tempu, and yeah, there's just like bushes of cannabis plants like next to the park. It was like, yeah, it was so strange. Yeah.
Oh man, that must have been cool. Yeah. Was it high in altitude, the city where you were staying?
Yeah, I think like. I can't remember exactly. I think it was around about like 2,300 meters or something.
Yeah,
but the elevation was you could certainly feel it in your chest for the first couple of days, like acclimating to the altitude, trying to skate. You get a tight chest, and you'd be tired a lot quicker than if you were down on sea level. That's for sure. You could really feel the difference. But also felt great when you got back down to sea level after skating up there. You felt so strong. It was good. Felt like I could run a marathon when I got back.
Yeah, I bet.
But just, I mean, it's just the culture up there, and all the monasteries, and just the way of life, and how friendly the people are, and you know, it was just such an epic place to go. So beautiful, so unique, and just I loved it.
I assume an edit of this whole trip is going to come out sometime soon. But I mean, you just came back, so it's probably going to be a few weeks or months until.
Yeah, I think so. So it was. So the Bhutan part of the trip was for Salad Days,
right? Yeah.
For Nestor's organisation. So we were kind of we went to teach kids locally to try and encourage skating out there. So I think within Patrick's edit, there'll be like a bit of street skating, and he was working on a photography book out just based on Bhutan, and then that will tie in with like the skating with the kids and the locals, and like, you know, all of this. So it should be a fun video to watch. I guess that's going to be a month or two. I'm not really too sure of the schedule, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes open for that. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, do so, man. I think it'll be a nice thing to watch.
Well, speaking of Patrick, he asked the next question. Let's hear it.
All right, Barney. So out of all of the countries that we have been to together, there is a couple places that we wouldn't be able to return to, like Nagorno-Karabakh, since it doesn't seem to exist as a sovereign nation anymore, as well as maybe the Xinjiang region of China, or we wouldn't be able to go back as unsurveilled as we did back in 2014. But my question is, out of all of these random nations that we have dwelled in, where do you feel like you have unfinished business, spots that you would want to skate? Would you want to go back to the Avenue of the Baobabs in Madagascar, go to the nitty-gritty back alleys of Cuba, get a gun pointed at you in Senegal? Or would you just want to have a cold one from Gary? Let me know.
That was good. Yeah, it's funny that we've traveled to a couple places together now that you're no longer allowed to return, or no longer identified as a country.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had this conversation the other day. Actually, we were talking about this, like, when you start looking back and like reminiscing on how many trips we've been on together and the places we've seen, and I mean, Patrick's like traveled a lot more than I have, and even just with the places I've been with Patrick, it's just like unbelievable to look back on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a place that I'd like to go that feels untouched for me. I was just like a lot of generic places actually, because I haven't been to Japan. Because when I was in Hong Kong with Patrick, then I was chatting to him about, because it's so close to Japan. I was like, I should probably just go there for a few days. But but then again, if something more unique could be, I don't know, maybe somewhere down more in, I don't know, Africa or South America or something. You know, explore more of that terrain. But there's always somewhere you want to see, right? Or somewhere like on the Nile would be really cool.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's obviously quite dangerous, but
yeah, probably
it'd be quite cool. Well, depending on what part of the river you're on, of course. But
you can take your boat down there.
Yeah.
That would be quite an adventure, but yeah.
Well, I've had this funny conversation with my friend Sherman a couple of times when he's been to visit that we were like, we'll sell this boat, and we'll buy a sailboat, and we'll try and make it to Australia in a sailboat from here. That would probably be the route you'd want to take, which you'd want to go, across into Europe and then through the Mediterranean, and then you'd want to go down like Suez, maybe go across into the Nile. I don't know. It could be a route.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible.
But anywhere around that general area of like geographically of like the Suez Canal and the Nile, and it's pretty sketchy around.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a pipe dream, but I think if we talk about it enough, maybe it will happen.
Yeah.
That'll probably deserve a lot more planning than the push through the country.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's just do these two last ones. This one's from Björn Holmenäs from Sauer, right? I think he's the founder.
Björn by.
He said, "You've now reformed a camper van, a canal boat. When and where will you build a house, or do you see yourself settling down fully somewhere?"
Yeah, I'll probably try and scab a bit of his land off of him down in the south of Spain and put a shed up, I reckon.
Perfect. That'd be yes.
Yeah.
He needs to keep a little spare space for you on his property.
Yeah. Just a little shed on the side, in the corner, I don't know, to be honest, it's really nice that he lives down there, though. But, I think it would be kind of it would be nice to be in Spain, but, like, down in the southern coast where he is, it stays warm pretty much all year round, doesn't it? So sun's always shining, relatively cheap to live down there. It's not like being in Barcelona, like Madrid or something.
Yeah. The summers must be brutal out there, though, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty intense. I'd imagine it's about 40 in the summer, like most days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You need the hack. You need 2 properties, which that seems very much like a pipe dream as well. But
Yeah. One place for the summer, one place for the winter.
Yeah, one north and one south.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
That's the life hack right there, isn't it?
All right, let's wrap it up with this one.
Hi Barney, it's Tim Ruck, formerly of the Boarding House. I've got to say it's been terrific watching the amazing career you've had in skateboarding, and I really hope it goes on and on. But if your time as a sponsored skater came to an end, my question to you is, what would be next?
Well, that's a question we're all asking ourselves.
Yeah.
It's hard to know, really. I have a lot of things I'm kind of interested in, but I think you should probably try and plan ahead more. But
well, you're still young. I mean, you're 34, and there's like pro skaters in their late 30s, early 40s, and they're still ripping and making a decent living out of skating. So
and also I just think I think a lot of the time when you're like, I mean, you don't really want to just leave it to the very last moment, but that happens a lot of the time for a lot of people. But I think as long as you have an interest in something you want to do, or like you said earlier, it's like I quite like doing stuff with my hands, so I think I'd probably try and follow a path of being a creative in some way, being able to make things. I wouldn't want to be like a general house builder or anything like that. I mean, that would be quite depressing for me. But also, I'm happy with just like doing something here, doing something there, learning this, learning that. I don't know, even if it got into like skate park building or maybe the jewellery road or...
Have you ever done any of that? Like the skate park building stuff? Like I think you mentioned that in other interviews that you were interested in exploring that maybe.
Yeah, I've been interested in it for a long time, but I've just never found the moment to do it. And it's actually funny you just asked that because there's actually like a DIY called The Bumps. That's like a 5-minute cycle from here. There's a company called Betong. They're doing like the best parks that are built in the UK by far now, since he's moved over here with the company, but they've like kind of revamped the Bumps. It was like originally it was like a really old worn down park. That they've kind of smoothed out again, and they've been adding new obstacles, and they're building this big bowl corner thing with an extension on it over the next 3 weeks. And I said I'd volunteer and go and like see what's up with that. And
nice. Yeah.
So actually this coming week, I might actually go and lend a hand for a couple of days, just to see what it's about, just get an idea, I just think it'd be really nice to create a skate park and build one and then skate it. But from what I hear from friends that do it, they never skate the parks they build.
Oh, really?
Because they're so tired of looking at it afterwards, and just like they just like work very hard, you know.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like a director who makes a movie and never watches it again. They're like over it.
Yeah, so I'm like, will that just draw the fun out of it?
Yeah,
so is it even worth it?
I can see
I
that.
don't know, like wooden parks would maybe be a little funner to build. Yeah, I don't know. Like Tim, the guy that just asked this question, actually, he was actually the like him and a few people in Exeter were the people that got the funding for the first skate park and built the other parks within Exeter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they pushed like BMX and skating massively when I was younger. Created the whole scene. It was actually really cool what they did. But yeah, they built all the old parks. That was all in wood, which I actually prefer that back then. Like the park I grew up skating in Flowerpot, I was like one of my favourite parks to this day that I've skated.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now it's been redone and it's kind of like a
more generic and not a...
Yeah, it feels like a mini golf course now.
Okay.
All in concrete. It's just like it's not the same as what it was. But
okay. Yeah, so something with your hands, something that involves building and traveling and basically, keeping that same lifestyle, but not necessarily making money through skating, just doing something different,
Yeah, I don't know, yeah. But who knows where you end up and what you end up
doing. But you already have your hands in different things, like you mentioned, like the jewelry, like building your boat, building, Yeah,
that'd be something, as long as I'm... able to eat.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm sure. I think once you start something, then you just gotta kind of push through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
Sometimes you just need a little kick in the ass. It's hard to know what you want all your life. Also, I find it's quite stressful if you're looking too far into the future. That's going to become stress, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of good to live in the present time as well, but you still obviously don't. You don't want to be too ignorant to the point where you don't have a fucking clue what you want to do. But
no, of course, but kind of plan for the future, but be open to change because things will probably not end up developing how you envision, and you need to adapt to whatever's going to come your way. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Barney. Thank you for taking the time to chat.
No, it's all good, mate.
That's it for my conversation with Barney. Follow him on Instagram at Barney Page to keep an eye on his upcoming projects. Go watch and rewatch all his amazing video parts of the last 15 years. I also highly recommend to check out the amazing Land's End documentary. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon for a new episode of Beyond Boards.